This is Gabby. She is up and running about, and I didn't have a little co-host today, as I like to call him, because the girls are napping right now. So, do you want to go now? Because I'm just going to be talking and chatting, or you want to sit with me?
I'm going to sit with you.
Okay. So, I made my first video. Exciting. And I actually had better feedback than I thought I would. I really did not think anybody would watch it. But I have like 14 subscribers. Woohoo. Anyways, today is the girl's 4-month birthday. So I thought I would do a little birthday update. I have a list that I'm referring to off to the side here because I will literally think of things that I could talk to you guys about throughout the day, and then I'll forget. And yeah, so I was like, well, I'll just make a list and go off that. So I would say I'll start off with my reaction, or people's reaction to my video. The thing is, I'm not going to edit any of these right now because one reason I don't really know how, and I don't want to screw it up and then just make this a process that I hate. So you're going to hear all my bloopers, all my mess ups. That's fine. And I had a lot of people reach out to me at like 1 o'clock in the morning after I posted that video. I shared it to my Facebook. I linked it to my profile, also to my Instagram. And then I am in a couple support groups for my pregnancy related issues, and I posted in there just for other moms because that always gets new members. Obviously, if you become pregnant, you have problems, you can get added to the group. So trips out of the house. That is one of the things I wanted to talk about today because I think I finally mastered it. First and foremost, I invested in a City Select double stroller, and eventually I'm going to do a video on the things I think are must-haves for twin pregnancies and for after they're born, because this stroller is freaking expensive, which I got it off swap, so I did not pay $600 for this stroller, but it has saved my life because I have a really tiny car. I have a Chevy Trax, this one, twins in the back seat. Obviously, there's no room for really anything. This stroller collapses really easily. It's only like, I think 28 pounds or so it's not super heavy. It fits in the back of my car. And I was using a Snap and Go, which actually I do recommend. They're very efficient. They work for almost any stroller or car seat. And you just put the baby on it and Velcro, or not Velcro, snap the straps on, holds it in place, great. But it just didn't fit in my car well, so I definitely am glad that I saw that on swap and I invested in it because it has saved me. Now, for the girls' 4-month update, have a little peek at them here. I've got Hadley sleeping in the swing again. Sawyer fell asleep doing tummy time. Sleep has been amazing. These girls sleep damn near all night long. I honestly don't even mind waking up for one middle of the night feeding. I don't think that that's horrible. But yeah, the last couple nights they have been going to bed between probably 9 and 10 between the both of them, and sleeping until 5 in the morning or later. I had to wake them up Monday at 7:30. I went in their room, turned the flash on my phone, just to kind of get them to stir a little bit, and they woke up and laid there for a half hour, happy as ever. So, yeah, they're doing really good with the sleep. I hope there's no sleep regression. That would be terrible, because I am on this horrible sleep schedule where I literally will be up waiting for them to wake up just because I feel like my body is expecting to get up. So I'm hoping I fall out of that cycle soon. They hold their heads really good, which I know for a 4-month baby, that's like, they should be holding their heads already. They should be doing all of that, but mind you, my girls were born 10 weeks early, so they are 30 weekers, and their corrected age, which is, I think I'm saying this right, I could be wrong, but their corrected age would be the day that they're born. So they were born on May 3rd. Ew. And their due date was until July 15th. So their actual age is 4 months. Their adjusted age is like 7 weeks because they weren't due till July. So they didn't really hit newborn age until obviously July, and now they're literally only like 7 weeks old if you think about it that way. So that's a good way to remember it. I don't know what is itching my back right now, but holy moly. Anyways, yeah, so sleep goes good and they're growing good. Hadley is 10 pounds. I have a 10-pound 4-month baby. Some babies come out that size. Can you literally believe that? She's my nugget. She's my little peewee, and She's just so tiny. I just love her. And Sawyer is, I think she's 11 pounds now. I weighed them a week ago, so it could have changed a little, but they're still just little babies. We're doing tummy time already, and that's going decent. They end up just napping about 5 or 10 minutes in. They don't enjoy it, which I honestly didn't expect them to. Most babies don't. All right, and I think I will move on from that topic. This is not going as smooth as I thought it was. I thought I would just be so, like, elegant and articulate, and everything would just flow very smoothly, and I feel like I'm all over the place, but I'm going to get it all out there. So when I said that in the beginning of my video that some ladies reached out to me at like 1 o'clock in the morning. Hey, Gabs. I don't want to throw everything into one video. First and foremost, there's so much to say that I feel like I need to break it down into portions because I would be sitting here forever and I would lose track of time, and I don't want to like bounce forward, bounce back, and throw people off. So I'm just going to start off with how we found out we were pregnant, and just the beginning of my pregnancy, probably up until like our first specialist appointment, when we first found out things were wrong. So I wouldn't say had been technically trying. We definitely weren't preventing. I did want a baby. I was like, we have to do it, we have to do it, we have to do it. And Jacob was just kind of like, I'm giving you what you want. Like, it's okay if we have one, but he wasn't like, we have to have a baby. Regardless, it happened. So I got pregnant in October, and we call them rainbow babies, or I call them rainbow babies, because to me they are. Jacob and I had a tubal pregnancy in November of 2017. Lost that baby. I had no idea I was pregnant. I ignored all of that. And actually, I'm going to make a note because I'll make a video about that because that was dangerous and other women should pay attention. So excuse me here. Yeah, so we had the tubal pregnancy. And then that January, I got pregnant again. So 3 months later, and lost that one. Same thing again at the end of February. So it was kind of a trying couple months, but I'm really one of those people that just wholeheartedly believes things happen for a reason, and you can't let it bother you. Dwelling on it will not change anything, and I know that that's always easier said than done, but I just have a good defense mechanism, I guess, and it works for me. And then we just kind of were like, all right, we're off birth control, but we're just going to go with the flow. And yeah, we got pregnant that following October of 2018. And since I knew we obviously weren't preventing, and I was hoping I would get pregnant, but at that point I had kind of given up, and I was like, whatever, it's going to happen when it happens. And of course, that's when it happened. But I was on my way to work. It was a Thursday morning, and I remember thinking to myself, you know you're not pregnant. Why are you going to waste money on pregnancy tests? Because you know they're going to be negative. I'm on my way to work, mind you. And I had watched so many videos, like I had said before, about girls finding out that they were pregnant. So I bought some first responses, and I bought the 88 HCG tests. Now, the reason I did that was because in the past, when I'd had the tubal pregnancy and the chemical pregnancies, my doctor sends me in to get blood work. And as your hormones grow, if it's a viable pregnancy, they say that the lines on the pregnancy test should get darker. If it's a faint line, like there's some HCG in your system, but if the line gets darker and darker and darker, like it's really heavy in there. And I don't know if that's true or not. It did seem to work in my case, but so I buy all these cheap tests, buy a few expensive tests. I spent like $30, go to work, and I was a bartender at the time, so I was opening that day. Restaurant wasn't open yet. I was just going in to get my stuff done. And I was like, I have to do this, so I peed in a little plastic cup, dipped the stick, set it on top of the little toilet paper dispenser thing, went over to wash my hands, and I covered the stick so I couldn't like glance at it from across the bathroom. Went back and looked, and it was instantly positive. I was 7 days early, literally. I was not due for my period until that following Saturday, and we had a wedding to go to, and I was like, all right, I don't want to go drink if I could be pregnant, and I kind of felt like a fool taking a test that early, but I know that people can have faint positives really early on, so took one positive instantly. It didn't even take the whole test time to show up, and I was like, wow, 7 days early, hello, and I'm already showing a positive, even on the 88-cent tests that are not supposed to be sensitive. Like, you're supposed to wait till the day of or the day after your missed period. So I took them all weekend. That was a Thursday. Got my blood work done. My HCG levels were 34. And the doctor was like, as long as they at least double, you're good. Like, hello. Would you mind, just so you're not distracting during this portion of my video, go draw me a picture. Can you do that? Maybe you can come up with a fancy channel or title for my YouTube channel. What do you think? No?
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. I just didn't want her to be a distraction in the background. And she's just my lovely little best friend. But, so yeah, HCG levels were 34. Doctor says, just make sure they double by Monday. We'll wait 3 days. We'll be happy. We'll consider this viable. Went back on Monday, and my numbers multiplied by 5. Why that was not a telltale sign that I was probably pregnant with twins, I don't know what would be. But my doctor didn't mention anything to me. That was November. Yeah, so I found out I was pregnant November 1st. November 4th, levels had risen, so we were like, oh, we can breathe, everything's fine. We didn't announce or say anything, but I had my first appointment coming up. I believe it was November 14th, because it was right before right after Jake's mom's birthday, and we didn't want to tell anybody right away because of our past experiences, so prime time for her birthday to be there, and I was under the impression I had to have, like, the family health history in order to, I had to bring that to the appointment, I thought. So we had to tell her because Jake doesn't know literally everything about his grandparents, aunts, uncles that may have had stuff. So I needed his mom to make that list for me. So we told her, and she did that, had my first appointment, everything was fine, and then they scheduled my first ultrasound to be for, I want to say, week 10 or 11. And we found out it was twins actually on November 30th. I had some light spotting, and with my past, I didn't freak out. I just called the doctor and I was like, I'm having this little bleeding. It's just like dark brown blood. I'm sure it's old, but I just wanted to let you know. And he was like, go get checked out just in case. And it's like 6 o'clock at night. So I had to go to the ER obviously because his office was closed, and the lady looked in there, and I'm like looking at the screen. I asked her, I said, can I watch you do the ultrasound? She let me. Jake's sitting next to me, and I was looking, and I'm like, what are these extra components? Like, I've seen quite a few ultrasounds in my life. Thank you. And she was like, there's 2 in there. And I was just like, what? Are you kidding me? I couldn't believe it. I was mind blown. My best friend at the time was pregnant with twins too, and Jacob was over the moon about it. So he instantly got up and called his mom, and the ultrasound tech was so cool because the hospital's not supposed to get pictures, let you take pictures, anything, and she was like, as long as you don't have your information on the screen, you can take a picture. We don't care. So we did. I was so thankful for that because I just love to document everything. And yeah. Everything looked good at that time. We did find out from just that ultrasound, I was like 7 weeks along, and we did know that they were mono-di twins. So there's a good thing to elaborate on. There are 3 types of twin pregnancies that have been brought to my attention. There is a di-di pregnancy, which is the lowest risk, and that is where your babies each have 2 separate sacs and 2 separate placentas. Each have their own powerhouse. Everything's good. Then there's the higher risk twins, which were us, and those are the mono-di twins. That's called a monochorionic diamniotic pregnancy, which means my babies each had their own sac of water, but they shared a placenta, like their powerhouse. And the issue with that is there's all these blood vessels inside of the placenta. Now, each baby, some has their own, and then some are connected. So for easy math, we'll say out of 80 vessels in my placenta, they could share 20 of them. Where blood just kind of flows back and forth between the 2 babies. Thank you. And then there are MOMO, I think that's what they're called, or mono pregnancy, and that's like monochorionic. Not even sure about the second word, so I'm not going to try to sound educated in that. Hold on, babe, I'll talk to you about it in a little bit. No, it's okay. It's okay. Oh, MOMO, hush. And that's where 2 babies are in the same sac of water and had the same placenta. Super high risk, very scary. Glad I did not have to deal with that. So we found out the girls were mono-di, and that everything looked good at that time. And my doctor scheduled us our first ultrasound with them things still looked good, and then they refer all of those pregnancies to a specialist. So since I live in Illinois, I had to travel to Peoria, which is an hour and a half away. OSF Medical Center was the hospital with my specialist, and I could not say better things. I don't think I should say her name, my doctor. I don't even know how to deal with those things. So I'm just going to say the hospital and that they were specialists for now. And she was absolutely wonderful, and Jacob and I loved her. She made me feel so comfortable. She was just great. And our first appointment was great. Both babies looked good. Both babies had a good amount of water. They were growing at the right rate. They were the same size. Perfect. Then we went to our second appointment with her 2 weeks later. I believe I was about 13 weeks at this point. I need to like bust out my little timeline, which I will further elaborate on in another video. But yeah, I was about 13 weeks, and that's when they noticed that baby B, or Hadley, she had no bladder, or it had disappeared, and her water was low, and she had a heart defect. So that was a Tuesday that we went, and by Thursday we were in Chicago, which is about 3 hours from us, already seeing another specialist up there. So from then on, week 13 up until week 22, we were traveling 3 hours one week to Chicago, an hour and a half next week to Peoria, every single week. And for Chicago, you had to make a 2-day trip out of it because the appointments would be at 7 in the morning. You can't get up at 3 and drive up there, beat traffic, everything. So we'd have to go up the night before, stay the night, get up and go to the appointments. It was just a total hassle. Mind you, it was also the middle of freaking winter, and winters in Illinois or Midwest, period, are just crazy. I'm going to pause the video here because I got a fussy baby, and I'll be right back. We're back. My little soybeans here. She was on my video last time. She just wanted some love, so she's going to hang out with me while I wrap this up. So yeah, we found out things were bad, went to Chicago, back and forth, winter weather, covered all that. And it was just crazy. And after all these appointments, I want to elaborate that I think her head looks to your angle like it's not very supported, but I promise you it is. I'm crazy about their heads. And yeah, it was just from there every single week we seemed to just get bad news on top of bad news, and I would just leave these appointments, and literally on the way home from Peoria I'd have my headphones in on my phone trying to find other stories about women who were dealing with this type of thing, and they thought it was twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome because of the fact that Hadley's symptoms. Okay, love you, bye.
Tell them bye for me right now.
Gabby says bye. She's going to play with a neighbor. Anyways, yeah, I would just be searching the internet, trying to find other stories, make myself feel better. I didn't care if they were good or bad. I just wanted to know what to expect, which is kind of, at the same time, it doesn't work that way because everybody's different, everybody's story is different, but I just needed some positivity. I don't know. And I never could find anything. So since baby A, or Sawyer here, was always perfectly fine, it couldn't have been twin-to-twin transfusion, because when you have one baby that's getting too much and taking from the other baby, the baby that's getting everything eventually develops a lot of health problems. They can develop hydrops, which is like a retention of water in their body. Sorry, I'm kind of just watching this person walk by right now. I think he's scared of our dog. He's outside. And heart defects, and she was always fine. So that ruled out the twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome, and it ended up being, here's the whole list of things, and then I'm going to elaborate on all of that on my next video. She had selective intrauterine growth restriction, which means that my placenta was not providing her the right amount of nutrients, if you will. I am not elaborating on this like in a way that a doctor would either, so this is just my understanding from what has been explained to me through my experience from the doctors. Yeah, so she was not getting enough nutrients. The way her umbilical cord was inserted into my placenta was also different. It was not normal. And then there's 3 vessels in the cord from obviously your placenta to the baby, and her flow of blood and everything was intermittent, so it would just like come and go, and then it would be absent. So that's just not good for babies at all. Obviously, you're not supposed to have that. Then, of course, the no bladder, her fluid was low, so she's getting like shrink wrapped in me. And the problem with that is babies swallow their amniotic fluid and pee it back out or they swallow their pee to make amniotic fluid. So that's why her fluid was low, because her bladder wasn't functioning. And she also had some pretty serious heart problems. The major thing being a regurgitation on the right side of her heart. Now, when we went to Peoria and they referred us to Chicago, they said we would be getting a lot of echocardiograms on the girls. So that was when they saw the defect in Peoria, but they didn't know what the problem was. So in Chicago, we found out that the regurgitation was on the right side of your heart. Your blood is supposed to pump down and out. And inside of the babies, it's not as a big of a deal if what is happening. Oh God, how do I explain this? Here's a blooper you're gonna see. The way I understand it is the blood pumps down, goes back up through the lungs, out the other side, whatever. Her blood was stopping and coming back up the same chamber on the right side. The heart does not handle that well. That's exactly what I remember the cardiologist saying to me, was the heart just does not handle regurgitation well. And on top of that, she had 3 holes in a PDA window, which is like a window in their heart that's supposed to close after birth. That's what it was. And it's okay that it's not closed inside because they're not using their lungs to breathe. But once they're out, that window is supposed to close on their own, and the blood's not supposed to flow freely between the 2 chambers. Hadley's is still there, and it's not a huge deal. They're going to check on it when she's like 8 months to a year, and I think she's down to 1 hole now. So at that appointment, yeah, we found out all of these things. Baby just was not well. They called her our sick baby all the time, which I absolutely hated. They suggested, they gave us 3 options. Really, it was, let's monitor this, we'll see how it goes. And then it turned into possible termination. Like they suggested you could terminate baby B, and it could essentially make baby A mentally challenged because all the blood that would be cut off from baby B would rush to her, and the brain doesn't take that well. Or we'll just see what happens. And we just saw what happened, because to me, I wouldn't consider myself a super religious person. I feel like I have a lot of faith. I pray every night. I feel like I have a good relationship with God, if you will. But I just wholeheartedly believe that if there was something that was going to happen in my pregnancy, it was out of my hands. It's up to God. And if he wants to take my babies, he can take my babies. That's not my job. I'm not terminating my pregnancy. So we just let it ride, and we went week to week to be monitored. And I will slowly update you on that. So yeah, I would say that is an update up until week 15-ish. They never ended up doing any placental surgery because there really wasn't a need for it. The growth discordance between Sawyer, the regular baby with no problems, and Hadley, baby B, with all the problems, was 44%. So Sawyer here, baby A, was growing just fine. Literally on track, nothing wrong, and baby B was so behind. She was measuring 2 weeks behind. So when I was like 20 weeks pregnant, she was measuring at 18 weeks in size. But the thing was, she was growing on her own curve. So yes, she wasn't where she was supposed to be, but she was still growing, and that's what mattered. So we just kept closely monitored, and obviously our outcome is good, but there's so much to tell. I'm just like, I have to break this up into categories. So I got the first part of the pregnancy out of the way. Trips out of the house. I know I kind of talked about this right at the beginning of my video, but today I think I've mastered it. I'm leaving the car seats in the car. Their bases are in there, their car seats locking in and out of them, so it's really super easy to get, them in and out of the car. And then to get into Walmart, because normally I'm by myself. If I have Gabby, she's 7, great helper, seriously, because she'll push a cart, I'll push the babies, it's fine. When I'm by myself, I have to push a stroller and pull the cart. I did order the WeGo baby twin carrier, which, like I said, I'm going to do a video on like must-haves and such, so I'm just going to very quickly say that there have been times I have tried several different things now to figure out what works best for me. And the first couple times I went, I would just take the stroller, have Gabby push a cart, but she's back in school, so I don't have my little helper here all day anymore. And I have the Moby wrap. Phone call from my sister. So I have the Moby wrap, and it's not advised that you carry twins in it, but if you look up other videos, you can see where twin moms can teach you how to wrap and carry both. I don't exactly like to do that just because getting them out of the car and into the wrap. I wear the wrap in the car. So like I put it on myself before I even get to Walmart. That way when I get there, I don't have to stand in the parking lot and wrap this thing around me. So I just drive with it on. That way when I get there, I can just pull a baby out, put it in, go. But putting both of them in there from the parking lot took me like 10 minutes. I was like, this is a waste. I'm not doing this again. But if you wear one, you can carry the other one in like normal. So on days where I know I'm going to be a while, like if I'm getting WIC, which I do get WIC, and that's something else I'll elaborate on because don't even get me going on people that get help. Don't. Making a note because I'm going to rant about that. Anyways, so wear one, put the other one that's not crabby or the one that's asleep in the big part of the cart where the car seat is authorized to go. You're not supposed to clip your car seats to the top where the babies actually sit when they're toddlers. That is dangerous. Your cart tips, your baby's going to get hurt. Don't do that. Put it in the big basket and put groceries around it. So I did that, and that is really efficient. However, this City Select stroller I invested in, let me tell you what, so smooth. I can maneuver this thing with one hand effortlessly. I can turn it, so I grabbed one of the mini carts with the 2 stacks and not the big basket cart, put them both in there in the City Select stroller, pushed with my left hand, pulled the other cart with my right. Perfect shopping trip. Then when I got home, I left the car seats in the car, and I had an hour before I needed to go get Gabby again, and I literally just took the babies out and carried them in the house because they're not approved to be in their car seat for any longer than an hour and a half. So I'm not supposed to just let them sleep. Like I know a lot of people I did this with Gabby all the time. When I would get home from running an errand, if she was still asleep, I just left her in her carrier, and then when she woke up, I got her out. I can't do that with them. So whether they're sleeping or not, they have to come out. So I'm just going to leave the car seats clipped in. When we go, I'll just put the baby out there, get them all adjusted in their straps, and go on. I don't have to pull the car seats out of their closet, get them in them, carry them out. Literally just carry the baby out, put it in the car seat. Easy. Not going to take up any less or more space. The car seat has to be there regardless. So that is working well in my favor because I had to leave an hour after I got back home from my errands to go get Gabby anyways. So yeah, that is it for now. I'm rambling. If you've made it this far, you a soldier. Yeah, 4-month checkup, trip out of the house, first part of my pregnancy, updated on my first video, which, whatever. I really like doing this. I'm not good at it, but you know what? It's something for me to do. And I say, this lighting though, this is my front window. I have nothing here. I'm using that to prop my phone. I don't even have a tripod. I have nothing. This is just for fun. And I finally got my hair done by the Queen Teresa Doe. Oh my God. This girl's perfect. If I could just die and come back as anybody, I want it to be Teresa Doe because beautiful, just everything about her. Perfect. I love her. I hope she sees this. But yeah, I'm going to make this silver and such, but she did so good. So good. And today I have not washed it or anything in a couple days, and it was in the way, and so I just threw it up in a scrunchie. It's fallen to the side, but I don't mind the messy look, so we're going to go with it. Anyways, I hope I make one of these in a few more days. I was aiming for once a week, but I might do more than that because this doesn't take that much time and it gives me a reason to get ready, and sometimes I just want to fucking rant about things, so that's what I'm going to do. And I should probably watch my language. My filterless mouth will probably come out more and more as these videos go on. So, all right. See you next time. I know I said I was gone, and I've already changed into my freaking lounge clothes. Not that what I had on was uncomfortable. Took my earrings out. I literally put my 5 minutes worth of makeup on. I haven't taken it off yet. Anyways, I just wanted to correct a couple things. I'm a fool, and I always say the girl's birthday is May 3rd. It is May 6th. They were born May 6th. I don't know why I always say that. I literally do it every single time. So there's that, and yeah, that's it. Just wanted to correct that. Okay, bye.